What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Avowed yet again and the interview that MinMax did with the game's director. Now, I believe there were 175 questions to that interview. I actually watched the entire thing, and I always actually recommend watching those. They're a lot of fun. They are rapid fire, and you normally get a lot of like deep level kind of questioning. So I always think those episodes or those videos, whatever you want to call it, are actually extremely good. I kind of want to go over a couple of highlights. Of course, they make the game sound extremely good. I'm very much ready to play Avowed. It's still coming out in this packed period where there's no way I'm going to be done with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Like a Dragon comes out 3 days after it, so it's still sandwiched in between some also probably pretty great games, but I am getting more and more excited. So, the first thing that I think a lot of people are talking about that I wanted to also talk about was the PS5 question. So pretty early on in the video, he asks about the PS5, but he actually kind of says it as a statement, right? Like, of course it's coming to PS5. It's kind of worded like that. And if you look at the game director, she's initially smiling as soon as he starts asking the question, and she drops that smile on a freaking dime, and her response is more of like a shrug, more like, I don't know, or who knows, in terms of the future. But if you actually watch as he's saying the PS5 part in the very beginning, she's smiling and she actually nods. Now I nod a lot when people are talking to me, even if I don't agree with what they're saying, I might still give a little nod. I mean, it could just be like a human condition, right? So again, that's what a lot of people are talking about. I think Avowed is, of course, going to come to PS5. It's obviously a situation, though, where if it does, it's going to come later. This is not a Doom situation. This is not an Outer Worlds situation. It's not coming day one to PlayStation, right? So I would expect probably you're going to have to wait around 6+ months before the game comes out. We'll see, right? 2025 is just the year of, like, how many Xbox games come on PlayStation, and then when specifically, right? And how long do you have to wait for games like this? But I did find that interesting, just like everybody else. She initially nods and is smiling, and she drops it so freaking quick and then just kind of defaults to, oh, I can't, I don't know. Which in other words is I can't say anything, which I get it. I mean, she's not, I don't think she's got the credentials to just out Xbox's strategy of like, oh yeah, we're planning on releasing it in, August or something. There's no way she's going to be allowed to say it, even if she knows it, okay? A couple other things. He asks about the physical edition, and the response wasn't yes, okay? Now, it wasn't necessarily no, but it wasn't a strong answer that I would like. And again, this is more of like a personal one to me. I like game preservation. I talk about it a lot. I have the whole third channel, that goes over it. It's a situation. We've seen this happen to games as time has gone on with the Alan Wakes of the world, and like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, things like that. You like to see them eventually get a physical release, okay? And some of them do. Alan Wake did get a physical. It took a year, and you had to get the deluxe edition physical release, but you could actually get it physically now. So I don't know, and I say this kind of for any game. And again, I have a lot of confidence, or I think I have more confidence than I see other people have on Avowed. Doesn't really matter though. I think for all of these games, I've said it for like live service having offline modes too. Even for as bad of a game as like Redfall is, right? Or Suicide Squad, I don't think is nearly as bad as Redfall, but these games that are not perceived as very good, okay? I still believe they should have offline modes because I still want them preserved. I still want them to literally last. Just maybe historical, kind of purposes, just so the game still freaking exists is a good reason, right? So you're not losing your money. You buy the game and then it shuts down and you basically lost that money, right? You rented it that entire time. So I am big into that. And it's the same thing with physical. It doesn't matter the quality to me. It doesn't matter the quality of the game. It doesn't matter if it's a 2 out of 10 game, a 10 out of 10 game. I'm always going to push for games to have physical releases just to have it, just to have, again, that kind of a safety blanket in case anything ever were to go wrong. The one other thing that I did notice, I mean, there was a lot of questions that were kind of like how many companions and what you could do. I guess what you could do with companions was slightly new, right? Like you can tell them what to attack and how to attack. And like they'll have skins, I think, through the deluxe edition, but you can't like massively like overhaul them, customize them just randomly, I guess, throughout the game. So there were some things that was a little new, some things that we kind of had heard before. And I guess the final thing I'd like to just say that kind of stood out was kind of the end of the game. So she talks about how there's basically going to be a point of no return. So the question, I think, was like new game plus, and then she said new game. So feels like you're going to go through the game. There's going to be a point of no return. So you can go back to that save, right? You do the point of no return. You beat the game. You can restart it, but you can't, there's not like an open world after. Actually, the game was never open world, remember, but you can't just go back in and continue the game from that point. It's not going to work. You have to start a new game, and at least at launch, it seems like there's not a new game plus. I don't know if that was already known, or maybe I just didn't know about it myself, but that kind of answered that question for me specifically. So I will say, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm never really a big fan of, for some reason, modern games just don't want to put New Game Plus in the base game. Maybe it's too much work. It's that extra kind of, a legwork that they just aren't able to do for whatever reason. But I don't know. I remember when New Game Plus came with the game, and then if the game didn't have a New Game Plus, it was never getting it. Versus nowadays, New Game Plus is kind of like a free DLC update, like 6 months down the line. I don't know why it changed. I'm not a fan of the change, but here we are. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.